Welcome back, everyone. I'm Daniel, your nutrition guide on this project. And today it's time to talk about emotions. And we have to talk about emotions because they may impact your eating habits and they may be what's causing weight gain. It may be the reason you are making poor choices that lead to health problems. Or even that single case of emotional eating every day can be holding you back when you're doing a lot of hard work in the gym and eating better meals but not making progress. One single stop for coffee and a donut can add hundreds of calories to your day. Like fast food and highly processed foods have a disproportional amount of fats, sugar, and calories compared to whole foods. So imagine a typical diet of 2,000 calories a day. It may be more or less than that depending on the person, but to make progress in fitness and weight loss in a healthy and sustainable process, you should be aiming for a deficit of 500 calories a day, average. That means you're burning 500 calories more than you're eating. So if you're exercising, taking care of yourself, and your daily burn is 2,500 calories to lose weight, you should eat about 2,000 calories a day. I just want you to have a notion of average numbers to understand the impact that even one event a day of emotional eating can have. And even if you have a drink and a piece of food from fast food restaurants, it can add to 500 calories a day or more. Okay? So you won't see progress. So the mission today is to understand and explore this connection between emotions and the way we eat. We can't avoid this topic because it affects almost everyone. We have to face it. Emotions are part of daily life and they frequently affect our food choices. So I'm here to help everyone understand the concept of emotional eating when our emotions influence what and how we eat. It's just like mindfulness. Mindfulness is crucial for a healthy mindset and it's connected to emotional eating. So understanding emotions will help you make positive choices. It may be the only way to make all the changes you're looking for in your eating habits. Of course, we have to acknowledge that emotions can act as both allies and enemies when it comes to health and eating. It may be stress, happiness, maybe boredom, sadness. Each emotion can trigger a different eating pattern that may be good or bad for you. So consider this a situation. You've had a challenging day at work. You're super tired, and to make it worse, your mind is wandering. And usually wandering is about bad thoughts. Right? You keep ruminating and thinking about what happened, what you could have said during an argument, and how much you don't like that co-worker or things like that. And then you find yourself reaching for a container of ice cream in the evening just to feel better. It may be sugar, it may be alcohol, greasy foods, or even a combination of all, especially if you end up in a social event. And this is just a classic example, classic case of emotional eating driven by stress. Now, let's switch to a positive situation. You're celebrating a job done, a promotion, or a birthday. So it's a festive, it's a positive atmosphere. And still, in this case, you feel encouraged to indulge and go for all the treats and overeat. That's emotional eating as well, but in a different context. And it's also attached to that cultural aspect of associating celebration with food and drinks. Now let's get back into a process that I mentioned a few times before in the previous lessons. The key is first to recognize and acknowledge these patterns, then learning and understanding how emotions will affect your relationship with food. It goes from understanding why it happened, what it led you to do, and it often leads to consuming more calories and unhealthy foods. Then, think about how you feel after the event because normally you end up feeling guilty or unsatisfied. Now imagine it's a Sunday afternoon and you're feeling lonely. You don't know what to do, you need a distraction, you find a bag of potato chips and a chocolate bar. Again, it's emotional state dictating food choices. Or you're feeling super happy because you finished the project. The celebration meal might involve foods and drinks that are not aligned with your goals. Again, it's all about being aware of these emotional triggers so we can break that cycle. I have to be aware of what's happening. There's nothing wrong with choosing food as a reward for celebration. But you need to understand why you turn to specific foods during specific emotional states, and then find healthy alternatives to cope with the feelings. Sometimes it's just distractions, sometimes it's just old habits. Now, let's look at some positive strategies. For distractions, mindfulness can bring the solution to managing that emotional eating. Picture this. You are facing a stressful situation, and instead of reaching for unhealthy snacks, this time you stop and you know exactly what to do because you have previously tracked your actions. You were able to identify your patterns, and now you have a plan for each situation. You've been learning, you've been exercising mindfulness, just like we exercise muscles. So you pause to take a few mindful breaths. Then you go ahead and have a glass of water, and maybe you eat a fruit. That fruit is already there in front of you because you planned for that. So you know you're not really hungry or thirsty. And even if you go for that comfort food, you're very aware of your feelings and body cues. So you increase a lot the chances of making a better choice and gradually changing habits in a sustainable way. If you've been following the last 9 weeks of this project, by now you understand that the entire process I just described, it goes from brainstorming, setting actions, planning, and tracking. It's buying the right groceries when you are in a good mood. It's choosing where to put them at home, prepping and packing, having good and consistent habits. So when there is a situation of emotional eating, it becomes obvious to you and you know what to do. Besides that, if you understand your emotions, you gain a superpower because you start to align eating choices with goals and values. So here is homework for you. Reflect on your emotional triggers and start tracking those events. When it happens, you write a note about the situation, just a few words, why it happened and possible solutions. And the solutions should involve actions that you could have taken before the event to prevent it. Or it could be activities that bring you comfort instead of relapsing to emotional eating. It could be a short walk, could be a hobby, maybe calling a friend, or even changing the environment. You go somewhere else. Now, to wrap up, remember that it's all connected. You have to integrate mindfulness into your well-being skills. So you gain control over your eating habits and you cultivate a healthier relationship with food. And just one more reminder, it's not about eliminating emotions, but learning to manage them mindfully. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope it helps you. And if you find this useful, don't forget to like, comment, and share your great experience at Integra Wellness. I'll see you next time. Have a great week.